future. But he did, and I think he lasted about a week and a half.
We've had a chance to sit overnight and ponder what could have been, but you've witnessed West Ham get beat by Rennes in France in a pre-season friendly. It wasn't great. And as you get closer to the new start of the season, you start to wonder, like, what setup is West Ham going to go for? What's missing? What's the final pieces of the jigsaw? Do we have? How many pieces of the jigsaw do we need? Billy McKinlay himself done a post-match interview and said, listen, this is this type of game we needed because it shows us where we're at. Really, essentially what he was saying was who we're missing and what we're missing at West Ham. And I tell you something right now, after watching that game, if you did watch the match day live, I tell you how riveting it was. I didn't even know that West Ham changed goalkeeper at halftime, and I'm not even joking. You know how relentless I am on stats and on information and subs and all that sort of stuff. I did not know we changed goalkeeper at halftime. That is ridiculous of a situation for me to even do, but that shows you how non-enamored I was by the game. But what that game was missing and what West Ham were missing was a ball carrier, and that's why West Ham need to go out and get Conor Gallagher. I've said it for such a long time. Now let me put something straight here. Everyone believes Conor Gallagher is off the table. He is not categorically off the table. Mauricio Pochettino, who was appointed as the Chelsea manager, has said that he was going to Conor Gallagher is part of his plans. He was going to see what he was capable of doing, and he is obviously keen to keep him there. But we are led to believe that if the right offer comes in for the young England international, that they would be open for him potentially heading out the door, because Pochettino needs to set his squad in the right way, in the right format to the way he was, and he has got many players that are surplus to requirements. Several reporters are saying that they're very confident that Conor Gallagher could still head out the exit door if the right money comes in. Now, listen, we've set the standard, we've set the tone, and I'm past caring anymore. And I actually think Conor Gallagher is a kind of in-between signing if you look at what Tim Steiden's looking at and what David Moyes looks at in terms of players bringing into the club. So you've got Tim Steiden looking for young, enthusiastic, dynamic European players who've got a really good sell-on value on top of the fact that they can drive the club forward. Now, Conor Gallagher has the potential to have a good sell-on value, even if we do pay over the odds, because if you think about the English interest rate that goes up really high if you're England international, then you buy the player, and if he has a good run at this career that we're hoping that he has at West Ham, then you could have some form of sell-on value. But equally, though, there is a fine balance between someone who's also got Premier League experience. But equally, though, if you look at what he can do and what we don't have in the middle of the park is energy. We do not have that energy. We've got one player in terms of Lucas Paqueta who's doing absolutely everything, but we need someone to bounce off of him, and we need a ball-carrying midfielder, and that's exactly what Conor Gallagher is. I swear, just watching that pre-season friendly, if you had a Conor Gallagher, they would work so well with Paqueta. They'd work so well together. In actual fact, you'd bring out like a fresh approach into that midfield. You wouldn't feel as bad about potentially having Tommy Soucek and or one or the other of Flynn Downs in that midfield alongside Paqueta and Conor Gallagher, because Conor Gallagher doesn't just go forward. He isn't just creative. He gets stuck in. He's got the bite. He tracks back. He wins balls back. He gets stuck in with his tackles. He will track back. He'll work all over the park. But equally, though, he drives forward. He's got the creativity. I watched Rennes, right, in the preseason friendly with West Ham, and through the middle of the park there was like one touch football, and they were around West Ham. And then sometimes their midfielders would get the ball, a player called Doku, and he would look up and he'd see a little gap, and he'd go for the gap and he'd get through our midfield at no problem at all. But not at any point did any of our other midfielders do that except for Lucas Paqueta. Paqueta has that ability. He has that a trade of football in him that we can get the ball forward and be creative. But if no one else around him is doing the same, that's the problem. And in actual fact, Conor Gallagher is for me, the kind of piece of the jigsaw that really helps Paqueta, that really drives him forward. I would go out and pay that money for Conor Gallagher. I genuinely would, knowing that West Ham would also invest in a European talent elsewhere. But look at Conor Gallagher from a Tim Steidten and a David Moyes point of view. He's 23, 24, young England international. So he hits tick, tick, tick for David, Premier League experience, tick, tick, tick for David Moyes, but tick, tick, tick for Tim Steidten. The only downside is the value of money. But do you know what? He is a player that could come in and probably hit the ground running. And that is something I think would add real strong value to our squad. He would strengthen our squad and probably strengthen our first team, our first 11. Conor Gallagher walks in alongside Paqueta and really shows us what he's capable of doing. I know people are going to put in the comments and say, what's the point in trying to target Gallagher because he's off the radar? He is not off the radar. Categorically telling you right now, he is not off the radar. We only get snippets from the reporters, from the press conferences, and you need to look into the further transcript of the press conference. And he made and alludes to the fact that there still could be an option that Gallagher heads out the door. Pochettino historically works with small squads, and he's about 7 players over the odds of that. And he's brought another player in yesterday as well. Let's go out. Let's just pay the money. I'm past caring anymore. 50 million quid gets you probably Conor Gallagher. 45 million pound probably gets you Conor Gallagher. Put 40 million pound on the table, 5 million add-ons, or 45 million pound on the table, 5 million pound add-ons, and get the player through the door and start getting him adapted to West Ham, because him and Paqueta can be lethal. Him and Paqueta together can unleash players like Benrahma, can give them the freedom, and also, you know, other players that are stepping up into the equation. Conor Gallagher's the guy I want West Ham to go for in the Premier League. Let me know in the comments right now by letting me know, do you want us to sign him? He's not off the table. Trust me when I say that. Dynamic, energetic, tracking back, covering ground, driving forward, willing to take on one-on-ones, willing to dribble, willing to create. Just got abundance of talent for a young boy. Then that's the one I want in, and that's why on the thumbnail I've got the two of them together, because they look the business. Trust me on that. Although I'm Anton, West Ham Network, sitting in my living room doing it, and I'm not a football coach. Anyway, take it easy, everyone, and come on, you irons.